I don't, at the risk of sounding old and at the risk of sounding like, society these days, I'm at the risk of doing that. Um, I think with this, there's so many things that can distract players outside of just social interaction, with, phones and the media and all that kind of stuff. Um, I think, you look at tee work and that the tee just looks like there's a ball there and I'm going to hit it. And I need something more exciting. I need something more entertaining. Um, and to take a kid, who's, let's say, anxious or ADHD or wanting to do something else, whatever it is, and to really calm them down into the moment and say, no, this is what we're doing right now, um, is tough. And, do we as coaches, do we need to make it more entertaining, or do we go with, the more of the old school approach of just being like, hey, you need to suck it up and get after this drill. Um, you know,
Well, I think Brian, what and this is where my I feel like my special ed background came into play with me as a baseball coach and training kids. You've got to really figure out how can I do this drill and for how long can I do it. Like with some kids, you might be able to do it for 15 minutes. For some kids, you might be able to do it for 3, but you still do it.
mhm,
You see what I, and then, and like, and if you can try to make it, and we have to try to make it interesting. We do. I mean, kids get bored. Like one example, what I would do with tee work is if I wanted a kid to work on driving the ball the other way, I'd put a tee on the outside part of the plate. I'd put a tee out in front of the flight path that we'd like to see for that ball with a ball on it and challenge the player to knock the other ball off the tee with the ball that they're hitting off the tee at home plate and make
mhm,
it a kind of a contest for them. And
mhm,
it would increase their focus. It would increase their intent of
mhm.
what they're doing. And if and I'd say, look, you knock that ball off that tee 2 times, we're done with the drill.
Yeah,
And so, we have to be creative. We do,
right.
because we're dealing with so many different learning styles, so many different personalities,
Mhm,
age groups, all those types of things.
right. Um, I as a coach, I've always kind of uh, bounced back and forth from, making it a contest to offering punishment for the losers or, um, you know, prizes for the winners or what have you. Um, and it's really interesting to see just from an observer's perspective, if I'm trying to make an adjustment for a kid, whether it's hitting or pitching or whatever it is, whether he's popping the ball up or throwing the ball high in the zone as a pitcher, um, you know, I can say, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then the moment I say, if you pop one more ball up, you're doing 50 burpees or whatever. It's amazing the power of that. Um, and I'm not saying that we're like abusing the kids at all, but it's just something to say, listen, I need you to focus up right now. And that right there with a quote unquote threat is a huge, huge, powerful thing. Um, so it's the challenge of the coach to come up with creative ways to get their focus into it. Um, but you're not going to satisfy everybody. There's always going to be one or two kids that are like, this is stupid. I don't like doing this. I want to do something else. And that's I think as a coach, I see that. I see the kids that are getting bored, and I kind of want to be like, hey, I need you guys to get into this drill. But I think, that isolation from the rest of the group when everybody else is having fun is powerful enough. But you know, it's really interesting to see the ways that coaches get kids to lock in a little bit.